Hello, 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 beautiful you. Excuse me, this happens when I start recording. Very weird. Okay. How you doing out there? Can you see me? Can you hear me? How you doing? I hope you're doing really well. Where are you? I'd love to know where you're calling in from. Where in the world are you? And who are you? I see there's some names that I recognize. Oh, by the way, with the chat, if you click on everyone, then your message goes to everyone. And if you want it just to come to me, you can click on host and panelists, all right? So I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Oh, Ali. Excuse me, excuse my sniffy whiffy. So I'm just going to give a minute or two for people to join, but I just want to say thank you for being here. I've got some real magic, some grounded magic, some amazing ways to create a life you love to share with you. I'm actually going to share the slides with you. Yeah. Excuse me. So thank you for being here. Okay. And we've got representatives from we've got America, Central, South America, Ireland in the house. No Hawaii yet. Usually I've got a Hawaii. I love Hawaii. Costa Rica, hello. I am Guatemala. So thank you for being here. And as you can see, I'm going to be sharing the 3 steps to take so that you create a life you love. So let me first of all, maybe you're not in the right place, and maybe why don't I just share what you're not going to get from today. You're not going to get me saying, I've got a magic wand and suddenly your life can be amazing. And if you want someone else to do the action, to do the work and take the actions, then unfortunately, that you're not in the right place for that. And, you know, what I'm sharing, it does take commitment and it takes work. And so, you know, what I would love, and I hope if you're still here, that you will open your heart and mind so that you can, you know, allow these new learnings, what I'm going to be sharing with you, these breakthroughs in neuroscience and epigenetics, so that you can open your heart and your mind and finally not only create the life you adore, but actually sustain it, you know, keep it, hold on to it. So today is for you if you're an aspirational person that can't understand why you haven't fully created the life you adore, and if you're willing to do whatever it takes, you know, if you're ready to live that life that you adore. Thank you. So thank you for being here. You know, I love sharing this magic. And what I'm going to be sharing with you are the 3 steps. And you need to take every single one of these steps to actually create what you love. And then I'll give you an opportunity to work with me. Because we're going to be spending a little bit of time together, is it okay to just tell you a little bit about myself? And you know, you can communicate with me in the chat box, but I'm not going to be able to keep an eye on that all the way through the event. But yeah, so I'm keeping an eye on it for the moment. So, excuse me. Can you hear me clearly? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let me just. I'm gonna turn down. Okay. Yeah. So I'm a former TV producer. It's kind of weird that I even saying that, because it seems like a million lives ago. I left Dublin to live in London, and then I worked my way up the ladder of success to realize it was actually leaning against the wrong building. I was excuse me, working in London's very cool media industry. I transformed my high pressure life, and I eventually got out of that industry, thank God. And I became a shiatsu practitioner, you know, healing, helping clients heal their health problems, and also find a really good direction in life. I naturally started, you know, coaching and realizing that their health imbalances were related to them not living their purpose, you know. And I later on went on to really experience alchemical and spiritual empowerment in sacred ceremonies led by acclaimed shamans, you know, all over the world, but especially in Hawaii and Guatemala, discovering, you know, the real power of just being love, you know, to create what you want. So, you know, having grown up in Dublin and lived all over the world, guiding people to discover their true life's purpose, you know, that's what lights me up. And, you know, for them to create lives they adore. And what happens in turn then is that they're contributing to humanity and, you know, making this planet adorable as well. I do specialize as a life purpose coach. That's where my heart lies, my passion. I lead online and offline events and workshops for those who are really ready to connect with their inner wisdom, their talents, and, you know, live that life that they adore. And even though I used to hang out with celebrities, I wasn't ever bothered about having photos with them. But when you go to Glastonbury Festival and you meet the organizer, who's a legend and a hero in my eyes, thank God I got a photo. But, you know, here at this time, yeah, I was at a festival having a great time. But, you know, my life, it looked glamorous. It looked amazing. But, you know, it looked like a dream come true, but it was actually a living nightmare. I was falsely positive, absolutely lacking purpose, very unhealthy. You know, because I was so stressed, working 70 hours a week, and lacking purpose, passion, and most definitely peace of mind. Once I left the media industry, I actually started to study and to work on myself, you know, my mindset, and, you know, healing, learning how to get myself out there in the world. I kind of felt back then that I had a lot of blocks, you know. So I studied and I became qualified in many, many things, you know, shiatsu, Reiki, Indian head massage, shamanism. I studied Celtic shamanism, Hawaiian shamanism, coaching eventually. You know, I use vision boards, affirmations, law of attraction. I loved The Secret. Studied transcendental meditation and lots of other meditations as well. Shamanism, crystal healing, traditional Chinese medicine, the I Ching, oracle cards and tarot cards that I was addicted to for quite a while. Ho'oponopono, NLP, the intuition, Like literally, you name it, I did it. And this is one of my very first events, taking people through a meditation. And this is me in Hawaii. Love Hawaii, lived there for some time. And that's me in Spain, and there's me in Spain with one of my foster dogs, Napoleon, who I love to bits. But what was really interesting was, though, even though I was living my dream and I had many times over, hit and surpassed my financial goals, I could never hold on to success. And I want to draw something on the board for you, actually. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use the whiteboard here because I'm going to come back to it. So let me use the Zoom-a-loom whiteboard. Yay. Okay, so here we have current reality. And here we have desired reality. Current reality and, oops, desired reality. Oh, good. That is what I'm doing right. So what I was doing and what I see everyone doing, especially people that go to a lot of personal development things and everything, they're here in their current reality, okay? And they might think of something they want over in their desired reality, and they realize that when they're here, they're going to be happy, right? So what they do is they, they start taking steps, moving away from their current reality, where they are now, towards the dream, towards their current reality. The further you get from your old reality, the more tension you feel. Now, that can manifest as psychological tension, worries, beliefs, fears, doubts. Do I really want that dream? Is it for me? Overwhelm. And then what normally happens is the ego goes, because we've got the ego here. Whoops, not great writing. Ego. It goes, you know what? You've got to do another course. So rather than continuing on this path towards creating what we love, we go, you know what? I'm going to go back to my current reality. I'm going to do an ayahuasca ceremony, or I'm going to go on a Joe Dispenza retreat. Now, I love all of these people. Like, they're my, what's that phrase? It's only, I'm very grateful to, the giants whose shoulders I stand on, because, they've granted me the wisdom that I have now. That's not the quotation, but I think you know the one that I mean. But I love all of these people. But they haven't got the structure right. And I'll explain that as we go on. So what happens is, rather than continuing along this path to create what we love, ta-da! We create what we love here. What we do is we go back to our current reality. And we do the course, and it's all very comfortable back there. We know it. The ego is happy. We read the book. We do the fast, whatever it is, okay? And the ego is very happy. Why? Because the ego does not want you to change. If you keep doing something you've done it before and you haven't died, then the ego is like, fabulous, keep doing that. She hasn't died, that's all good, okay? But also, the ego sees that here in the desired reality, you think you're going to be different. You're going to be happy. Life is going to be amazing. You know, you're going to have the dream. You know, what is a life you adore to you? Is it, you know, vibrant health? Is it your sexy man or, you know, woman, a relationship? Is it overflowing with abundance, more money than you know what to do with? Is it whatever? You know, what are the things that you'd love to create? But the ego sees that you think, and we all do, we think it's going to be different when we have our dream. But here's the thing. First of all, you're going to be exactly the same person. Okay. Secondly, if your ego knows you're going to be the same person and it doesn't have to die, it will happily let you create and sustain your dream. Okay. Now, you see, because here's the thing, just say you want overflowing abundance, okay? If you can't be happy and have an amazing time with someone you love, a cheap bottle of wine and a picnic on the beach, then you're not going to be happy here with all of your millions or thousands or whatever in a fancy restaurant with waiters and gold or silver. Gold cutlery is trendy now, isn't it? You know, gold or silver cutlery and wine, hundreds of pounds. You know, wine that costs hundreds. You're just not gonna, it's not gonna give you happiness if you can't be happy now with what you have. And this is one of the things that I'm going to be sharing as we move through this training today. We're going to go for 90 minutes, by the way, but it's going to be jam-packed, and I'm not going to take up loads of time to sell you something. You can just book a call with me at the end if you've got real value from this and you want to continue. It's jam-packed full of value, and you're actually going to do a process. I'm going to take you through the 3 steps, and you're actually going to do a process as well to learn about resistance, why you've got it, and then to release it. We're going to be doing some amazing work on your neural pathways. It's breakthrough, exciting stuff. But you're going to learn how to create a life you adore, okay? So knowing this is really powerful, because one of the most valuable things that I ever learned, which allowed me, which allowed me to both create what I want, but also to sustain it, to hold on to that success, was knowing that, let me use text, that tension will come up here, okay? And there's a beautiful thing about this, is that tension is powerful. It doesn't have to be psychological tension, you know, your worries and your fears and, you know, yeah, it's going to happen. It's a part of life. But actually, when you know that when you start moving away from your current reality towards creating what you love, tension is going to arise. But hey, what about if we call it creative tension? You've seen where you want to be, your end result, the dream. You say it's here, okay? And you've seen where you are now in relation to it, your current reality. So you've got 2 points. And the further away from your current reality you get, You see that this is stretching. What's the natural thing for that to happen? Tension seeks resolution. That tension will resolve in favor of what you love, in favor of your dream. Just with this knowledge, and once you stay focused on the end results that you love. So I needed to share that quite early on, because I just find it so juicy. And, you know, I don't know anyone, no one is teaching this formula that I'm teaching you today. And, you know, it works, it's working with hundreds and hundreds of people around the world. It's really, really powerful. But anyway, let's go back to the slides. Let's go back. Oh, nice. So, what was I going to say? You know, I didn't add it to this slide, but, you know, it is something that people aren't aware of and that people do. They get to that uncomfortable stage and they go, oh, didn't really want that dream after all. Or, you know, they go back and they work on themselves. And, you know, I trigger a lot of people when I say the personal development road is broken. Because you go to an event and what's the first question they ask you? What's wrong? You know, what are your blocks? What are your negative beliefs? What illness have you got? You know, and we know by working with the brain and neuroscience that what you're focusing on, you're giving energy to. So let me share some of the mistakes that people make and the myths, first of all, so we can get them out of the way, okay? Yeah, happy? How are we doing so far? Is this landing with you? Is it all good? Can you hear me? Are you still awake? 4 a.m. I love it. You're dedicated. Thank you for being here. I used to, some of my events used to have people dance halfway through and stuff to stay awake. But if you feel you need to do that, then do it. I won't be doing that on this event today. So the first one, and these are in no particular order, and I hear this a lot from women. It's too late. I may as well just continue, you know, how I've been doing, how I've been getting on. You know, I don't really believe in that dream life malarkey. I definitely don't believe I can have it. I actually don't even believe the people that say they have it. That's what I hear so much. Because my favorite question to like anyone, you know, everyone is, what would you love? And what I get hit with are, you know, never the answer of what their heart would love until I kind of, you know, push them and coax and coach them, you know. And oh yeah, no, yeah, well, this is wrong with me, so I can't have what I love, or you know, this is what I don't want to happen. It's so interesting because we're not taught to dream, we're not taught to focus on what we would love or create what we love. So yeah, you know, it's not possible for me. I don't believe that I can do it. I think it's for the, you know, the glamorous people, the pretty people, the rich people, you know. Not true. The second thing, you know, it would be too much hard work. I don't have it in me. Now, I'm not going to deny that it's, you know, I'm not going to say, oh my God, this is easy. I'm going to give you a magic wand and all of a sudden your life is going to be amazing. And this kind of relates to the first, you know, the thing I just talked about, is that I do have a life I adore, but it's not perfect and it's not conflict free. But the things that nearly broke me a few years ago, I'm like, yeah, whatever. that's happening. Cool. Don't understand it. Don't know what that's all about, but, you know, let him get on with it, you know, and I stay in my sovereign space. Or, and this is alchemy, you know, what's that? I used to really dislike the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I used to really dislike that, but I have to admit I'm a recovering positive thinker. You know, I used to think that positive thinking was the way to go, and it really isn't, you know. It's, you know, underneath I was in misery, actually, and thank God it was this work that made me see clearly now. So anyway, yeah, that's point number 2. It's going to be too much hard work. I don't have it in me. Now, you're going to have to be a different person. You know, I know this might, you think that I'm contradicting what I said a little while ago about it's not going to change you. But, you know, if you want that successful business or the juicy, sexy relationship, you know, you might have to epilate or wax your legs a little more often, or, you know, do whatever. Or, you know, if you want the successful business, you know, there is a chance you're going to need to get up very early in the morning some mornings. But, you know, how cool is that to have an extra 3 or 2 or whatever hours a day? Yeah, you know, if that's going to give me my dream. And now I don't know what it is that you are looking to create, but, you know, I'm not denying it's going to take some hard work, but why else are we here? And I never encourage anyone to do something that they don't love. You know, I have this saying, you know, if it's not fun, then either don't do it or make it fun. You know, and recently I've had some challenges, and it definitely crossed my mind about going, you know what, I've had enough of this. But actually now I'm like, no, I'm learning from this. This is actually really, really cool. You know, I'm not going to just walk away. I'm going to make this fun. I'm going to learn from this. And, you know, you don't have to kind of operate on the same level as other people. You can hold your center. You can hold your space of levity, of love, of joy. It doesn't mean that you're allowing yourself to be walked over. But, you know, you can hold on to your strength and your love and your magic. So I think I've talked enough about that point, haven't I? The next one, number 3, I'll eventually lose it. I won't be able to sustain it. And this is also really, really, really common. And, you know, if you think about the slide that I just shared, it probably is still there. The whiteboard might appear. Okay, I have to do a new screen share with just the whiteboard. So this point is, I'll eventually lose and I won't be able to sustain it. Now, the reason that that is common is because it happens all the time. Because as we move towards our dream, when the tension becomes very, very strong, we do tend to go back to current reality, or we keep going and then eventually get to our dream. And this feels so full of tension that we actually sabotage that or lose it. And we call this an oscillating pattern. So you'll get your dream, you know, like for me, it was, this happened to me quite a lot with reaching my financial goals. And I'd have, you know, more than enough money in the bank, still as much fear as I had before I had the money. But I would go, oh, okay. And now I've got to this financial glass ceiling. Now I need to go and work on myself to get to the next. And then I would lose everything I'd created here because this wasn't comfortable. And I was like, no, I've got to go back here and work on myself. And that's why I say the personal development world is broken, because, you know, we're focusing on problems rather than just having what we love and creating more of that, you know. So I saw, I was in an oscillating pattern for many, many, many years. And I see a lot of people in this oscillating pattern. So, yeah, other people might hate me if I'm rich, successful, etc. I might lose my friends and my family. And that's a valid point. And that is something that we cover in my programs, actually. Because again, if that's a focus, that could be what you create. But it's not a reason to not create what you love. You end up inspiring people. The next one, as long as I'm clear on my dream, it will manifest. That's a myth. It's very common in, the worlds of New Age and spirituality and everything. And there's 3 steps that you need to know and to take. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. Just to have clarity, on your life purpose of what you'd love to create is not going to be enough for you to manifest it, but also to sustain it. And this is similar, but the other side of it, if I ignore my current reality, it'll improve, it'll sort itself out. If I don't look at my debts or my bank account, it'll all sort itself out, And what was I going to say about that? Yeah, you can't bury your head in the sand like an ostrich. And then the last one, if I just keep taking action, I'll get there. Very often people take action from the head, ego-driven action. I've got to do this, I've got to do this, and it's actually proving a belief that they're maybe unworthy or not good enough or whatever. Rather than knowing how to connect with your heart, taking heart-centered action, even taking intuitive action. So they're the myths and mistakes that I wanted to share. And, when I was studying all of these modalities, and I was fascinated, and I kept kind of having success and then losing it, people would say to me, but Jerry, come and try this ayahuasca retreat, or, come and see this teacher. These long retreats are amazing, And I was like, well, if all of these things worked, why is it that everyone isn't living their dream life, with vibrant health and energy, with love and abundance and success? One of those questions that I asked. And I studied and I kept applying myself. And I was very, very lucky. I had some amazing teachers. And I've got to be honest with you. I was going to say I'm not the brightest penny in the I don't even know the rest of that phrase. And that's not really true. But it takes me a lot I have to experience things. I can't just know things in my head. And there's a process for learning, okay? And I'm actually taking you along this process today. You might notice this. And it's like, I'm teaching you things. You're getting stuff in your head. I'm going to be talking about neuroscience and then later in your neural pathways and rewiring and all of that exciting stuff. I'm going to be talking about the 3 memories, the 3 levels of consciousness, the superconscious, the unconscious, and the self-conscious. I'll be exploring all of that later on. And there's a flow to that. We know things in our head logically, and then we get it in our heart. Does this resonate? Do I love this? You might use other wording for it. It's like you can kind of, it's that bridge. There's a bridge between the heart and the soul. And the next stage, so it's head, heart, and then the next stage is that bridge of where you just know it in your whole being, your whole soul. Yeah. And that's how I teach. Now, that's how I need to learn as well. I can't just know stuff. So I've had a very interesting life where I've had to experience a lot of things, you know. It hasn't always been easy, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I had all of these questions. I remember even as a kid, and let me just take a little sip of water. I remember even as a kid, my poor mother, you know, I would very often ask her, why are we here? Why are we here? And I know now, you know, I know now. And that will unfold. My belief of what I think, you know, will unfold as we go on as well. So many, many questions. And I started getting the answers through working with amazing, amazing teachers. You know, I talked about standing on the shoulders of giants before. You know, I love the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton. You know, I've seen all of them speak. I've read all of their books. I studied with many, many amazing, amazing, incredible people for probably at least a couple of decades. And the first, you know, huge breakthrough in my life was learning how to tap into how to live in the heart, how to realize that I am, and you are, a divine, magnificent being, greatness personified, and to tap into my intuition in an accurate, tangible way, but also teach that to other people. Like, that was like, wow, that was like, oh my God, so exciting for me. The second huge, amazing, powerful answer that I got, which took me at least a decade to get, I think it was a bit more, I think it was about 15 years. And that is, you've got to be it to see it. What do I mean by that? So you remember I showed you the whiteboard earlier on. Where is my whiteboard gone? So we've got current reality and desired reality. So you see here, unless your ego realizes, because if it thinks that here, or if you think that here you're unhappy, and here suddenly when you have your dreams, you're going to be happy. Or like if you do another personal development course, if you read the right book, if you go to the right shamanic healer, if you do whatever, that suddenly you're going to pop out in your desired reality and have all of your dreams, then sorry, it's not going to happen. I thought that for many, many years. I hoped it. But it's not going to happen. And I'll tell you why. Again, it's because the ego will not let you. Because here, in your current reality, is not equal. That's meant to be an equal sign. It's not equal to your desired reality. I wonder if I can make that bigger. No, it doesn't seem like I can. Anyway, your current reality needs to be equal to your desired reality. You've got to be it to see it. And a shaman taught me this 10 to 20 years ago. And he said, Jerry, you've got to act as if, you've got to be it to see it. So what I did was I went out and I spent loads and loads of money pretending I was rich. And guess what? It didn't work. And then luckily, I met another guide. Excuse me, I'm getting a funny notes. Excuse me for a moment. I met another guide who I was like, what do you mean? He said the same thing. You've got to be it to see it. You've got to be it to see it. And I saw by the look on my face, like, what? And He said, Jerry, look at this. It was a seed. Okay? It was a seed of a tree. One of those hawthorn seeds. Beautiful. I grew a tree from a hawthorn seed when I was a kid. I think that's what they're called, hawthorn. Anyway, it's the first time I've used the hawthorn seed example. He said, in that seed are all of the invisible instructions for that seed to be a tree and to be a forest. Like if you smash up that seed, all of those invisible instructions are still there. So think about it in terms of manifesting or creating a life you adore. You have it within you. You have all of it within you to create what you adore. You're never given a dream without the ability for it to manifest. In our programs, we have meditations, many, many meditations, and the most valuable ones are the ones that teach your body to be it, get in the end result feeling, so that when you actually create what you love, that you won't reject it, you won't, get it, stay in that oscillating pattern and push it away. So that's the second answer. You've got to be it to see it. And then the third answer was from, I'm just trying to see what the next, the third answer was learning how to rewire the brain. I call it resparkling the brain. There's a rule called, now I'm just trying to think. Yeah, it is Hebb's rule. And Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this quite a lot. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Now, this was taught to me at a time when myself and my clients were creating quite a lot, but there was resistance. Resistance was coming up, and they weren't taking the actions that they needed to take. And there's a gentleman called Dr. Gary Flint, who's now retired, but he was basically working with people with severe trauma and PTSD, right? And he was doing an awful lot of work. He's a trained psychotherapist and psychologist, and he was working with people with multiple personality disorder, really, really big things for over about 30 years, right? And what he did was he actually learned how to get the brain to treat itself using the superconscious. Okay, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So, and another thing that he actually realized as well, and I'm going to draw that on the board. Let me stop sharing. Was that so here's the superconscious. Maybe I'll talk about the different. Yes, I will talk about. Yeah, let me talk about the superconscious. Yeah, yes, that's what I do. Superconscious. So here we have the superconscious. The superconscious is with us through all time and space. All right. It's always with us. It's with us all the time, basically. Before we're born and after we're born. And this is what Dr. Gary Flint trained to work on the brain for us, which we'll be doing later on. I'll be explaining more about it. But one of the things he learned was that, so if I ask you a question, what did you I know I haven't finished the question, so nothing has changed. But if I was to say to you, what did you have for lunch yesterday? Let me know in the chat box. This is usually the time I start to get really hungry, but luckily I ate just recently, so I won't. So what did you have for lunch yesterday? Oh, omelette. Salads are very popular at the moment. What did you have for lunch yesterday? So here's the personality. Your day-to-day, you're conscious, you know, your operating system, okay? Now, outside of here are lots of dormant memories. What you had for lunch yesterday was a dormant memory before I asked you about it. And when I asked you, you pulled that dormant memory out and into the active experience. Yeah? And it's called an active memory. That's the dormant memory. And this is the active memory. Now, we have gazillions of these dormant memories. And Bert Hellinger, who created family constellations, proved that we carry 7 generations of memories in our DNA from our grandparents, our great-grandparents. Like, think about it. You have, you know, you carry the looks and maybe some of the mannerisms of parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, but that goes back 7 generations. So you've also got their fears, their beliefs. Will that make sense? Yeah? So just say that you go to make more money or to get up on stage and you want to speak on stage, public speaking, but for some reason this huge fear comes up, or for some reason you can't hold on to money, you always muck it up. Potentially not yours. It's not yours. So in this process that I'm going to share with you later on, you're going to learn how to get your super conscious, which is also, it's also called the fields, right? Dr. Lynn McTaggart talks about it as a field. You're going to get your super conscious to clear any and all resistance that is there, which is stopping you from creating what you love. Who wants some of that? Who wants some of that? So is this sticking? Let me know, and let me know if you've got any questions as well. So I'm going to share the steps now, the 3 simple steps. The first step is my favorite question. What would you love? What would you love? What would you love? And this is something I'd love you to think about, that we can focus on today in this event, because what we're going to do is you're going to get clarity on something you'd like to manifest. Then we're going to take the second step, which is, where are you now in relation to that? Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look, and you're going to get clarity on how much resistance is there to creating what you love. And we're going to, with the help of the superconscious, let go of that resistance. At the end of the call, you'll see how much resistance you've let go of. And then you'll get clarity on step number 3, which is, what's the next action? The person who has already created the dream, the vision that you would love, what's the next action that they would take to create that end result? And this is the exciting thing. You'll know that the resistance has cleared when you take that action. So it's like a huge feedback system, because your current reality is a feedback system as to where your focus has been up to now. And then the next feedback system is actually, what's the next action? What's the next step to take? Okay. So we're gonna just get clear. I'd love you to choose one thing that you would love to focus on, that you would love to work on, to create on the call today. And I'm going to give you some examples in case you're a bit stuck. We work with choices, and these are things that your heart and soul would love just because you love them. So what we're not doing is we're not going, okay, I want more money because that'll make me feel safe. Like, we're not trying to resolve your tension. We're just going to choose things that we want to create just because we love them, okay? Just because you love it. So when you decide on what you're going to work on to create today, I want you to ask yourself that question. Do I just want that because I love it? Or do I want it because I think, people will think I'm cool then, or people will kind of look up to me, or I might feel good enough then, or whatever, You just want to choose things that you want to create because you love them, right? So here are some examples. You could choose one of these, or, why not pop, if you're thinking of something, I'd love you to share it. So feel free to pop it in the chit chat box. So the first choice, and these are orientational choices. They're not necessarily choices that you can go, okay, I tick that off. I've created that. Like, I choose the end result of my beautiful home, or I choose the end result of, my car, or whatever. You like, okay, you can tick those off. I know I've created that, These choices are more, and they're all fine. Oh, whatever choice, These choices are all positively worded, obviously, but also they're more of an orientation. This is where I'm headed in life. It's not so much I can tick that off. So I choose the end result of a life I love. How gorgeous is that one? Choose the end result of a life I love. If you were to close your eyes and just be in that end result, what would that be like? What would that be like? What would that life be like? And then the next one, this is what we do every morning. We get into these end results. So what we're doing is every level of my consciousness, that's where I'm headed. Actually, that's what I still want to share that with you, our levels of consciousness. And so, where am I headed? Where am I headed? And the next one is, I choose the end result of being the predominant creative force in my life. So you are the creator of what you love. You're not getting swayed by other people, you're a powerful creator. Just feeling into that, closing your eyes and really feeling into the juiciness of that. What's life like when you are the predominant creative force in your life? And the next one, choose the end result of being vibrantly healthy. And the health choice is always the most important one for me. I just think, isn't health, when we've got health, we're vibrantly healthy, it's the most important thing. you can then create anything and everything you want. So this is so, and these are in no particular order. So I choose the end result of being vibrantly healthy, just noticing that, just feeling that. How good does that feel? What's life like when you're vibrantly healthy? What are you doing? I've just started recently going to the gym. I actually can feel muscles for the first time in my life. It's quite something. Anyway, and the next one is I choose the end result of living my true nature and purpose. You know, this is like being your true self, you know, rocking at life, you know, whatever your true nature is, and also living your purpose. You know, you're walking your soul path. So just close your eyes and feel into that juiciness. How does that feel? What's life like? So you might want to choose one of these, or, you know, some of the ones that you've shared with me, you know, you know, my dream car, my dream relationship, my beautiful home. Oh, my beautiful homestead. I love it. You know, brilliant. And manifesting $1 million. You know, you can choose that, but how about, why limit it? You know, how about saying, you know, I choose the end result of overflowing with abundance, or having more money than I know what to do with. You know, it's like, it's such an abundant universe. So what I'd love everyone to do is to really think about what you want to focus on today on the call, and just a few people have put in, you know, I choose the end result of my beautiful home, my beautiful car, my beautiful partner. Just choose one thing, because remember, we've got to just create that tension from one point, what you love, to where you are. So we need 2 clear points for that, okay? So I'm going to share, I think, the memories with you today, now. I'm going to go back to the whiteboard. Actually, do you know what? I don't know if I can have a new whiteboard. I think it's, yeah, no, I'm actually going to use this whiteboard here. So you've got your dormant memories and active memories, memories that have come into the active experience. You know, did you ever have that where someone asked you a question, or you heard something, or someone said something or did something, and like suddenly, you know, you're like really angry or really hurt or really something, and it's totally out of proportion with the situation. That's what's happened. A dormant memory has been triggered. You know, I'm so familiar with that. I used to get very unconscious very often, up to a decade ago. It was living in Hawaii and hanging out with the goddess Pele that lives in the volcano there, that cured a lot of my anger and jealousy and things like that, thank goodness. Because I had a lot of dormant memories that would get, you know, triggered. Thank God, not anymore. Yeah, beautiful thing to have moved through. So we have the 3 memories. The first memory is the superconscious. The superconscious. And the superconscious is with us through all time and space. All right. The next memory Number two, memory two, is the unconscious. The unconscious. And the unconscious comes in about the third trimester. Okay. And then the third memory is the self-conscious. And the self-conscious comes in at about the age of between 4 and 7 years old. So the superconscious is connected through all time and space. Okay, it's connected through to your parents. It's the memory that turns a sperm into an egg, into a cell, 2 cells, 4, 8 cells, into a beating heart, and into a human being. So it's a physiological memory. And very often when I'm doing the rewiring for people, you know, people get like a twitch or their face will move or something like that. Because we're changing a memory, okay? And this is what I was talking about before. This superconscious memory is connected to your mother's and your father's fears all the way back 7 generations. Yeah. And, you know, thank goodness for the work of Dr. Bruce Lipton, and epigenetics shows that we can change our DNA. So this patterning, you know, at least 7 generations is showing up in our DNA, but we can change this. It's now being shown. So, you know, you could be having like an active experience of, you know, guilt or fear or worry or something. And it could be because 6 generations ago, someone created a belief that's still held in your superconscious field. But the good news is that that's what we're going to rewire today. Yeah. But yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because, you know, as I said earlier, if you get your looks, you know, from your grandparents, then it also makes sense that, you know, we get fears and all of that kind of stuff passed down as well, you know. So who thinks this is cool so far? Who's liking this? Yeah. Yeah, it is cool, isn't it? So this next one, this is the unconscious memory. And as I said, this comes in about the 3rd trimester. And when we're born, we're totally unconscious, you know. When you look at a baby, I love, you know, watching babies, young babies, they're like taking it all in. You know, how do I do things? How do I, you know, how do I walk? How do I eat? How do I be a human? You know, how do I be a human? And this is the unconscious memory. And then the self-conscious, that comes in, as I said, around the age of 4 to 7. And this is when the individuation process starts. This is self-consciousness. So we've got 3 different levels of consciousness. And here's what's interesting. With each one of those levels of consciousness, they're all looking for a different outcome. 3 different outcomes. So the self-conscious or the ego, that just wants to live a life around its perfect ideals, the highest ideals, you know, a perfect life. Because it believes, you know, in polarity, in a perfect life. You know, that's the ego. And then we've got the unconscious. All it wants is to stay alive and survive, you know. And then the superconscious, all the superconscious wants is experiences. It just wants experiences. So this is why I share those choices. And this is why we focus on those choices every morning, because you're telling every level of your consciousness, this is where I'm headed. Remember, invisible instructions. It's all about the invisible instructions. All righty. So, who's decided? Who has their the choice that they're going to be working on? I'm really grateful. Loads of you have shared them with me. Has anyone not got one? Does anyone know? Has everyone actually? You know what? Give me a 1 in the chat box and let me know that you've got your choice. Yeah. Let me know. Everyone got one? I love it. Brilliant. So I want you to just get into that end result. We're going to do the process very shortly, by the way. And we're starting now. This is I'm going to take you through the steps, and then we're going to go into the rewiring. Now, what am I going to choose today? A life I love. So what I'd love you to do is to close your eyes and just imaginatively put yourself in the end result of that choice, of you living it. You know, what's life like? I want you to feel it. I want you to put your hands in the hand sockets and your feet in the feet sockets and your bum wiggle it in, and you're living it. That's you. You're awakening in the morning. You've got that end result is manifested, you know, whether it's the dream relationship or you know, whether it's the elf business, we call it an elf business, effortless, lucrative and fun. You know, whether it's your business or, you know, whether it's your dream come true. I've already said relationship, haven't I? Whether it's your, you know, overflowing with money, whatever it is, just feel it. How good does that feel? What's life like? What are you like? Who are you with? What are you driving? Where are you? Where are you holidaying? What are you eating? What's your ideal day like? Just really feel into that end result, what life is like. Yes, that's it. You're getting it. And turn up those emotions. Oh my God, that feels so good. I feel tingles in my spine. Chicken skin. It means it's true for you to create. It feels so good. Well done. Nice. Juicy. Who wouldn't love some of that? Okay, now what I'd love you to do. So we've created that one point, that the vision point. Now what I'd love you to do is to be really real with yourself and ask yourself, so where am I now in relation to that? Where am I now in relation to that? So I'm going to ask you some questions to actually allow any dormant memories to be activated and come into the active experience, because then we can, with the help of the superconscious, let them go when we use the process very shortly, okay? So I might ask you some questions. Well, I will ask you some questions. So, you know, what does it feel like when you look at your current reality? You know, what are the emotions? What are the thoughts that come up? You know, what are the fears? What are the fears? How does that feel? You know, what emotions are there? What negative emotions and what beliefs are there? Now, let me just share the beliefs that, the predominant beliefs that we work with, actually. So we've got, am I sharing the screen? So we've got, I'm unworthy. This is someone who feels like they have to, you know, they have to be a good person. They have to, they're not lovable as they are. They're not worthy. They have to, you know, be worthy. They have to do things that a good person would do so that they can have what they love. The next one is the overachiever, the person who has loads of degrees. I'm not good enough. This person, you know, they feel like they can't have their dream now. They can't have what they love now. They've got to be, you know, fit enough or successful enough or whatever. You know, I've got to have the successful business before I have that relationship. Not good enough belief. The next one is I don't belong. This person needs to either fit in or they repel themselves from society, but they're also very often set up little cliques and tribes and, you know, groups and all of that malarkey. And these people, it's interesting, actually. They kind of, they really do want to fit in. It's like the people that have not got this belief are the people like Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, you know, all the people that really stood out and stood for their heart, stood for something. They didn't care about fitting in, you know. So there's that belief. And then the next one is I'm insignificant or invisible. And very often people with this belief, you know, they only want the successful company so that they become significant and so that maybe they, what was I going to say? They will, you know, save the world so they'll be significant. And they are also very often kind of trying to hide in the background as well, but, you know, with a very low voice. But actually that gets them the attention because everyone has to go, what did you say? What did you say? Interesting. I'm not capable. This person kind of puts himself in their own way, you know, to prove that they're not capable and they can't have what they love. You know, if they have a dream, it's like, no, I actually can't have that because I'm just not able to. And then the final one is the person that turns up perfectly done up, perfectly dressed, everything is perfect, but they're not creating what they love because they still feel they need to be even more perfect and even more perfect, and it keeps them from creating what they love. So I just wanted to share those beliefs. So let me know. No, you don't have to let me know, but you know, what's playing out in your current reality? You know, what would someone have to believe? You know, are there any of those beliefs that pop for you? What would someone have to believe to create the current reality that you know you're in? And remember, you know, it's so powerful to just be real with yourself, to just go, you know, positive thinking doesn't work, you know, what I've been doing doesn't work. You know, your current reality is a very accurate feedback system. So why not just be real and go, you know what? There's a lot of SH1T. There's a lot of here. But you know, what does shit create? You know, manure. Good for growth, man. This is alchemy, baby. Now, what would someone have to believe to create this experience of your current reality? What would someone have to believe? And what lets you know that this belief is true? Maybe what judgments do you have about this goal, this dream, this end result, you know? Or what judgments do you think others have of you? What do you think you might lose if you have this? It's an interesting question, isn't it? And then how do you finish this sentence? I would love that, but... Okay, good. So now I think we've allowed a lot of maybe what you didn't realize was there to come up, and this is beautiful. Welcome it. If you're new to this, it might be quite unusual for you. I know I ran from this. This was very new to me when I learned this, but this is when my life changed, you know, when I was able to go, you know what? It ain't perfect now. That's what I love. This is not good where I am now. And then to take the steps to create what you love. But it's like if I want to travel to New York tomorrow, I can't just be there, but you've got to know where your starting point is. And that's what we've just done. So what I want you to do is imaginatively put that in a big bubble. Okay, all of that, we call that the resist, that's all your resistance, all of that negativity, the fears, the beliefs, the judgments. And I want you to give it a number. Okay, if 0 is nothing and 10 is the most you could imagine, right? So anything above a 5, and you're going to have difficulty creating what you love. I should have left a bit of a gap there before I said that. But please don't give yourself a lower number just because. Like, be real with the number. And I'd love you to share it in the chat box. What number? What number? Now, so make sure you've got that number. Has everyone got a number? Please give me a yes or pop your number in the chat box, because this is a crucial second step. See, what we're going to do, imagine that you are trying to play football on the playing field of your life, okay? And at the other end of the playing field of your life, where the goals are, and your dreams and everything, but in between, there's all of these holes and piles of dirt, because all of these gophers have come along and they've made these big holes and these big piles of dirt. There's gophers everywhere, and you can't effortlessly move towards your goals. You can't create what you love because of all these holes, this mess. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask the superconscious, in the perfect way, in the perfect order, to come along and almost like with a feather, to brush over these holes and those piles and smooth out this playing field, and all of those gophers are going to run away, and you're going to be able to easily and effortlessly move along the playing field of your life towards your dreams manifested. So I'm going to be giving direct commands to your superconscious. And the first thing that I would love you to do is to actually give me permission to connect with your superconscious. Yeah? So just give me permission to connect with your superconscious. So we're going to do the process now. And there's no right way to do this. What I recommend is that you just take some really nice deep breaths. You can close your eyes if you like. And just notice what you notice. Okay? Just notice what you notice. Superconscious, are you there? Hey, superconscious. Thank you so much for being here. So for everyone here and anyone that attends the replay, what I'd love, so they've all got clarity on a goal that they'd love to create, and this resistance has come up. So superconscious, what I'd love is, in the perfect way, in the perfect order, please do a massive change history and everything is needed. Thank you. So just taking some nice deep breaths. If it's comfortable for you to breathe in through the nose. And breathe out through the mouth. So just noticing what you notice. Just take some nice deep breaths. Superconscious, we have events, past, present, and future. Can you please tag and treat and do a massive change history and everything? Thank you. Thank you. Superconscious, we have definitions, how we're defining ourselves, how we're defining others, how we're defining the world, and how we're seeing the world. And there's also judgments there. And we're defining ourselves as a bit of a muck-up. We're defining ourselves as not as good as, and defining ourselves as poor, defining ourselves, defining others as better than us. And defining ourselves as a fake, as someone who's never going to make it. Defining ourselves as a loner, and there's something wrong with us. Defining the world as, somewhere that we only belong if we're quiet. And, we stay quiet, and we don't speak up, and we don't rock the boat. So we have body systems, we have the chakras, the meridians, the endocrine system, the skeletal system, the organs, all the other body systems. These tag and treat, do a massive change history and everything. Thank you, Superconscious. If you find yourself yawning, that's a really good big release. So just allow whatever is happening to happen. Just happen. Just notice what you're noticing. Superconscious, we have alignment with desire. I deserve, I commit, I trust, I am, I will. Please tag and treat. We've also got personalities, the inner child, the wounded lover, the imposter, the angry parent. Please tag and treat, do massive change history and everything as needed. Thank you. Good, well done, everyone. So we're about halfway through, and I just want to check in with you. How are you all doing? How are you doing? So let me know your first number and where you are now. 518672. Okay, great. So let's go back in for a second round. So please give me permission again. Thank you, everyone. Superconscious, are you there? Superconscious, we have family agreements. There's broken agreements, there's family history. And there's also secondary intentions. you know, a sense of, you know, I want this end result, but so that it'll make me popular, or so that it, you know, I'll feel good enough, or so that people will love me. So just actually, I'm also getting thoughts and feelings. Yeah. So please tag and entreat you in the perfect way, in the perfect order. Please do a massive change history and everything. Thank you. Right. So we're all in the field now, and it feels just so powerful. Well done, everyone. So just imagine it's a really, really beautiful, warm summer's day, and it's this big block of ice. It's like, you know, 80 degrees, beautiful, beautiful day. And this ice is melting, you know, it's blocking you from creating what you love. And as it melts, you can feel as you breathe in, you're breathing in the new, and just letting go of anything else you want to let go of. That beautiful, that sense of just, it's all melting away. It's all melting away. That's it. And then I just got this other image of a bird. It's a bird in a cage. And it's staring at the door, but the door is actually open. It's staring at that door. And it's like many of us that, you know, we can see what we love. We can see the life we love. And the door is open, you know, and it's just that sort of, that sense of taking the action or the follow through. Super conscious, anything, any blocks, any resistance around these metaphors, you know, just please allowing the tagging and treating, and please do a massive change history and everything as needed. Thank you. So beautiful. Thank you, super conscious, super conscious. Please ground all the memories that we touched today back into the matrix of the universe, including memories 1, superconscious, memory 2, the unconscious, and memory 3, the self-conscious. Thank you. So everyone, what I'd love you to do is to actually step into that end result again. Step into that vision of you having created what you love. You are that person, and imagine that you're looking back at you today, and just notice, what action did they take? What action did they take to create that, what their heart would love? What was that action that they took? Maybe it was maybe it was something subtle, maybe it was something very profound, but what was that next action that they took? So I'd love you to let me know how you're doing. How was that for you? How was your first V-Sparkle? It's amazing stuff, isn't it? Yeah, if you're still processing, that's fine. And the tears is just a release, you know, I've got tears in my eyes. It's just a release. So, and what I would love is, what was I going to say? Yeah, let me know your first number and where you are now. 10-1, well done you. It's amazing, isn't it, that we can do this, you know, all these people from all over the world releasing that resistance. And the way you know that your resistance has released is that you can take action. You can take action towards what you love. 6-0, well done, beautiful, I love it. And I know a lot of you are still processing. That's fine. 6-1. Yeah, just be gentle with yourselves. So I don't think I promised anything at the beginning of today, but you know, I told you a little bit about myself, my own journey, and I've shared this powerful 3-sparkle system with you. so that you can let go of that resistance. And what I'd love to do now is just quickly tell you a little bit about, if you have any Q&A, you can contact me or the team, and we'll jump on a call with you. And we have many options if you want to work with us. You can work with me one-on-one. You can join our subscription program. I do recommend 12 months, but even just give it a go for 3 months. But because you're changing the structure of your life, it does take 12 months to really, because I'm not into people creating small things. I want you to create big. I want you to create big, amazing end results. And it just takes time to get it. Or you can just check out my free group, my YouTube or Instagram channels. But here's the link, and you can book a 10-minute chat with me, and I look forward to chatting with you. And I hope you will join us. I hope you loved what I've shared here today. And I will see you in the group, or I'll see you on a call. So I'll share that in the chat box. But I look forward to chatting with you. And thank you so much for your time, your magic today. And I will see you next time. Let me share that with you. There's the link. Thank you. Okay.